carrying out investigations, scientists must analyze and interpret data. Scientists must analyze and interpret data to look for more meaning that can serve as their evidence. Often, scientists seek to determine whether the variables are related or how much they are related. Hello, future researchers, and to all the grade 7 students out there. Hello, kumusta kayo? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is me again, Teacher May. Syempre, ang kasama mo na naman sa iyong research journey. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in Research 7. We are now in our 5th week of our quarter 3 in Research 1. And for today's lesson vlog, for Module 5, so our topic for today is all about analyzing and interpreting data. And for today's learning competency, you should be able to use appropriate measuring tools and observation tools in gathering data. And for the second learning competency, you have to evaluate gathered data. So, stay tuned on this lesson vlog para mas maunawaan natin kung ano ba yung mga topic na pag-aaralan natin for today's or for this week's lesson. For today's lesson, we're going to focus on descriptive analysis. And for this, so we will discuss about the frequency table and the frequency distribution. And of course, before we proceed with frequency distribution, which is a very important part of this lesson, because in the coming days, so we're going to discuss also the measure of central tendency and the measure of variability. But before that, let us define first statistics. Okay, when we say statistics, what does it mean? Are you familiar with statistics? Ano nga ba pag sinabi nating statistics, and how is it related to the topic that we're going to discuss for today? When we say statistics, it is a branch of applied mathematics that deals with the collection, organization, and analysis of data for a research or a survey. A statistical data may consist of lists of numbers that are related to research. Among those numbers, few may be repeated twice or even more than twice. Remember that it is quite helpful in the forecast and prediction of various results from the well-organized data. Statistics deals with every aspect of data, including the planning of data collection in terms of the design of the surveys and even in experiments. Take note that there are two main types of statistics. The first one is the descriptive statistics, and the second one is the inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics summarize data from a sample using indexes such as the mean or standard deviation, while in inferential statistics, it draws conclusions from data that are subject to random variation, such as observational errors or sampling variation. Okay, let us define frequency distribution. So, ano ba pag sinabi nating frequency distribution? Okay, kaya sinabing frequency, ibig sabihin, anong sabi? Repetition of number in a data set. So, for example, nagkaroon tayo ng quiz na 1 to 10. And then, you are 35 in a class. Okay. So, pag sinabi ko sa inyo, okay, please raise your hand to those who answered number 1 correctly. And then, out of 35, there are 25 students who got correct answer in number 1. So, ibig sabihin, yun yung tinatawag natin na frequency. Ibig sabihin, 25 yung students na nakatama doon sa number 1. The repetition of number is a data set is termed as frequency of that particular number or the variable in which that number is assigned. The frequencies of variables in the data are to be listed in the table, and that table is known as the frequency distribution table. And the list na makikita natin sa table, ito yung tinatawag natin na frequency distribution. Frequency distribution. This can be defined as the tabulation of the values with one or more variables. It is defined as an orderly arrangement of data classified according to the magnitude of the observations. Okay, as you can see in this example, so this is an example of frequency distribution table. Yung mga nakikita nyong data dyan, ang tawag dyan, frequency distribution. Pero kung saan natin in-arrange or saan natin nilagay itong mga data na to, ito naman yung tinatawag na frequency distribution table. And as you can notice, a frequency distribution table is one way to organize data so that it makes more sense or it makes more presentable. Okay, look at this example. The number which tells us how many times a particular data appears is called the frequency. For example, 2 marks have been scored by 5 students, which means marks 2 occurs 5 times. Therefore, the frequency of score 2 is 5. Similarly, the frequency of marks 5 is 3 because 3 students scored 5 marks. Yun yung sinasabi kong example sa inyo kanina na for example, nag-exam tayo ng 1 to 10 and then binilang ko kung ilan ang nakatama sa number 1 at kung merong 25 students na nakatama sa number 1, meaning to say, yun yung tinatawag natin na frequency. Kumbaga, ilan ba ang tumama sa number 1? 25 students. So, yung 25, yun yung frequency. Kasi 25 na estudyante ang tumama sa number 1. Then, pagdating sa number 2, meron namang 10 students na tumama sa number 2. So, ilalagay natin sa tapat ng score na number 2 is 10. So, that is the frequency. Okay, now, let me ask you, what is the importance of frequency distribution? Okay, very good. Number 1, it is used to analyze data. Number 2, to estimate the frequencies of the population on the basis of the given sample. And number 3, to facilitate the computation of the various statistical measures. In a given frequency distribution, you have to remember that there are many types of frequency distributions. What are those? We have 5. Number 1 is the group frequency distribution. Number 2 is the ungroup frequency distribution. Number 3, cumulative frequency distribution. Number 4, we have the relative frequency distribution. Number 5, we have the relative cumulative frequency distribution. So, para mas maunawaan nyo kung ano ba ang meron dito, so, i-discuss natin at magbigay tayo ng example. Okay, let us start with the relative frequency distribution. When we say relative frequency distribution, a relative frequency distribution is a distribution in which relative frequencies are recorded against each class interval. It is the frequency obtained by dividing frequency by the total frequency. Is the proportion of the total frequency that is in any given class interval in the frequency distribution. Next, number 2, we have the cumulative frequency distribution. The frequencies are shown in the cumulative manner. The cumulative frequency for each class interval is the frequency for that class interval added to the preceding cumulative total. Cumulative frequency can also be defined as the sum of all the previous frequencies up to the current point. Now, how about the relative cumulative frequency? The relative cumulative frequency is the cumulative frequency divided by the total frequency. And we have the last two, the group frequency distribution and the ungroup frequency distribution. So what's the difference between these two? When we say group frequency distribution, it is an ordered listing of variables into groups in one column with a listing in a second column, the frequency column. A group frequency distribution is the arrangement class intervals and corresponding frequencies in a table. While the ungroup frequency distribution, it is an arrangement of the observed values in ascending order. These are data which are not arranged in groups. and they are also known as the individual series. When the ungrouped data are grouped, we get the group frequency distribution. Okay, let us have an example. So, I have prepared here a table, okay, kung saan natin ilalagay at gagawa tayo ng frequency distribution table. So, for example, a teacher gave a test to a class of 26 students and the maximum mark is 5. So, the marks obtained by the pupils or by the students are the following. So, itong nandito sa taas. Okay, so ang ibig sabihin nun, si teacher nagpa-quiz ng 1 to 5. So, the highest score na pwede makuha ng student ay 5 and the lowest is 1. Now, sabi dito, binigyan niya ng test ang 26 students. Ibig sabihin, 26 itong number dito. Kung bibilangin natin, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. So, 26 ang students ni teacher. So, paano natin siya gagawa ng frequency distribution table? So, sa table na to, as you can notice, so we have the X. Ibig sabihin, ito yung scores. Dito natin ilalagay. So, and this time, we're going to use the ungrouped frequency distribution. Ibig sabihin ng ungroup, individual yung scores. So, ilalagay natin dito sa X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And then, sa tally, dito natin iisa-isahang ilagay ito para mas mabilis. And then, frequency, anong sabi natin sa frequency? This is the repetitive or the repetition of the numbers in a given data set. So, ibig sabihin, bibilangin natin kung ilan yung naka 1, naka 2, naka 3, and naka 4, and so on. And we have the CF or the cumulative frequency. We have the RF or the relative frequency. And the CRF, the cumulative relative frequency. So, paano ba natin makukuha to? So, panoorin nyo. Okay, so first, we have to write the scores here. So, X means this is the scores, okay? So, since 1 yung pinaka-lowest natin, so we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, kaya siya tinawag na ungrouped data, meaning to say, individual yung scores natin dito. Hindi siya by group. Ano, individual kasi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, nag-insert lang ako ng tally dito para it would be easier for you to know the frequency of each score. So, para mabilis kayo, ito lang yung technique na para mas hindi kayo mahirapan. So, for example, number 3. Okay, so ito yung 3. So, lagay tayo ng isa dyan. And then, i-mark na natin to so that hindi kayo malilito kung na-count nyo na ba siya or not. So, 1. Okay, 1. So, pag naitali na natin siya, you can now count the number of tally for each item or for each score. So, frequency, ang sabi natin sa frequency, the repetition of the number of a given set. Okay, so we have here 6, 6, 6, 5, and 3. So, para ma-check nyo kung tama ba yung pagkakatali ninyo, so, di ba 26 ito? Kasi 26 daw yung students ni teacher. So, i-add natin lahat ito. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 5 plus 3. And that is 26. So, tama ang ating tally. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung total frequency. So, ilalagay nyo rin dyan yung total frequency. Now, let us now proceed with the CF or the cumulative frequency. Sabi natin kanina, ang cumulative frequency is defined as the sum of all the previous frequencies up to the current point. Okay, sabi natin, cumulative frequency for each class is the frequency for that class interval added to the preceding cumulative level. So, ibig sabihin, mag-start tayo dito. Since ang nasa taas natin is 1, yung pinakamababa. So, mag-start tayo ay sa 6. Ano? So, parang so, lalagyan natin dito, 6 ang cumulative frequency nito. And then, so, ito yung magiging recent natin. So, ito yung ating preview. So, 6. 6 plus 6, and that is 12. 12 plus 6, we have 18. 18 plus 5, that is 23. 23 plus 3, and that is 26. Okay, kaya ang sabi natin sa CF ay cumulative frequency is added to the preceding cumulative frequency, and it is defined as the sum of all the previous frequency. Ito yung previous frequency natin, so i-add lang natin. So ulitin natin ha, nag-start tayo sa 6. So you have 6 kasi dito nang galing yon. So ano ba yung kasunod ng 6? Edi itong number na to. So 6 plus 6, that is 12. Plus 6, that is 18. 18 plus 5, that is 23. 23 plus 3, and that is 26. So pansin nyo, yung 26 natin dito, same din siya with our frequency, which is 26. Now, let's now proceed with the RF, or the relative frequency. Okay, pag sinabi nating relative frequency, this is the proportion of the total frequency that is in any given class interval in the frequency distribution. So, ang gagawin lang natin dyan is, we're going to use this formula. Okay. RF is equal to frequency divided by the total frequency. Okay, anong sabi? Relative frequency. Ibig sabihin, titingin tayo ay sa frequency na ito, and of course, kailangan natin ng total na frequency. Okay, sabi dito ay F divided by the total F. So, ibig sabihin, 6 divided by 26. At anong sagot? 6 divided by 26, we have 0.23. Okay, so 2 decimal point lang ang gagamitin natin. So, 0.23. Okay, now, next, ito ulit. So, since pares lang naman, so meron din tayo ditong 0.23, and same lang din, 0.23. Now, 5. Okay, so 5 divided by 26, and that is 0.19. Okay, 0.19. And 3, we have 3. So, 3 divided by 26, we have 0. Okay, since 5 yung nasa ikatlo niyan, so mag-estimate na tayo. So, this will be 0.12. Okay, remember, na kapag yung kasunod na number ay 5, 6, 7, 8, meaning to say, mag-a-add na tayo ng isang number doon para ma-estimate natin. So, this is the relative frequency. Again, relative frequency, ibig sabihin, susundan natin yung frequency dito. Okay? So, relative frequency. So, frequency here divided by the total number of frequency. So, naka-decimal places yan. Okay? Or naka-decimal point. Next, how about the CRF? When we say CRF, that is the relative cumulative frequency. Okay? Or the cumulative relative frequency. And this is, pag sinabi nating CRF, so CRF is equal to CF, cumulative frequency, divided by the total frequency. Okay, pansinin nyo, yung kanina, RF natin is relative frequency. So, ibig sabihin, yung frequency lang, di-divide natin sa total frequency. Pagdating sa CRF, yung relative naman sa cumulative frequency ang i-divide sa total F. So, alin ba dyan yung ating CF? Ito, di ba? Relative cumulative frequency. So, cumulative frequency divided by the total number of frequency. So, 6 ulit ito divided by 26. So, that is 0.23. Now, next, we have 12. So, 12 divided by 26, and that is 0.46. Okay, and next, we have 18. 18 divided by 26. 0.69, and we have 23 divided by 26, 0.88. Okay, ayan, 88, diba? And then 26 divided by 26, oh, kinalcue pa, that is 1. Okay, so that is our frequency distribution. Okay, madali lang, diba? So, ulitin natin. Una, ilagay natin yung mga scores dito. So, make sure na lahat ito ay present dito. And then we have the tally. So, i-arrange lang natin kung ilan ang nakakuha ng 1, ng 2, ng 3, ng 4, and 5. And then count the tally. So, we have the frequency. Okay, frequency, the repetition of the numbers in the data set. So, we have the 6, okay, and then 5, and then 3, and then we have to add all the numbers of frequency. Total frequency is 26. Okay, and then CF, sabihin, cumulative frequency, yung add na lang tayo ng add. So, 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 6 is 18, plus 5 is 23, plus 3 is 26. For the RF, relative frequency, so RF is relative to frequency. 6 divided by 26 is 0.23, and so on and so forth. CRF, 6, okay, ito, CRF, relative sa cumulative frequency, 6 divided by 26 is 0.23. 12 divided by 26 is 0.46. 18 divided by 26 is 0.69. And 23 divided by 26 is 0.88. 26 divided by 26 is 1. Okay, that's it. This is the end of our lesson vlog in Research 1, Quarter 3 of Week 5, Module 5. I hope you learned something from this vlog about the frequency distribution table, because on our next lesson vlog next week, we're going to discuss about the measure of central tendency for group and ungroup data. I hope you stay tuned on this channel. This is me again, Teacher Tin May. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in Research 1. Bye! See you on my next vlog! Nag-subscribe ka na ba? Syempre, subscribe ka muna. Hala, pindot na yan. Bye!